Alright guys, we got a Cub Cadet 1170 that we got. The owner complained that he hit something and ever since then it's not running right. I have an idea what that is, but I want to diagnose this like I would anything. And in order to do that, we are going to have to get a battery in there. And then we'll also, before we try starting it, we'll check the oil, and then I think it's worth taking the shroud off and making sure there's no mouse nests or anything, just so if it does run, we're not going to get it overheated at all. Oil level looks good. Let's check the air filter while we have this open. What's up, buddy?
And can this be when you're, so this is when you're filming?
Yeah, we're filming right now. The filter's not bad. But yeah, I can see in here there's some mouse nests. So we are gonna pop this shroud off and get that cleaned up. I think the best thing to do is just take this whole metal body off. It's not the frame. I was gonna call it the frame. Gotcha. So to take this shroud off so we can see all around the cooling pins and everything, there's 1, 2, 3, there's one there as well, and there, a bunch of 3/8 bolts to take out. And this is where it's nice to have a ratcheting wrench like this, because some of those angles you can't get your impact in, so this will make the job go faster. Before we can pull the shroud off, this flywheel cover does need to come off. Now this whole shroud should just come off. Oh, look at that nest, buddy. Someone had a nice cozy home in here, Everett. You want to vacuum it up? So after vacuuming all this out and then pulling it out and washing our hands, I think we found the glue. Here's a wire. that goes in between your ignition coils. So when your flywheel's spinning around, there's a magnet on here. See if we can find it. There's a magnet on here, right there, that when that goes by your ignition coil, it sends a spark to your spark plug, and that's what fires your cylinder. So I don't know, I'd have to look at it if this is the one that goes in between, because this is a 2-cylinder, so there's 2 ignition coils, 1 for each cylinder. If this is a wire that goes in between them, or if it's the one that goes to a spark plug. But I bet you that mouse chewed on that cable and then it got corroded, if it's too corroded to carry a spark. Or another option, if it was grounding out on the frame here, that would also kill the spark. So let's keep moving forward. We'll try running it and we'll see what happens. Oh, that doesn't seem right. Let's clean those up. So I do have a battery here. Oh, let's see. Red is positive, black is negative. You want me? See if it has any dinosaur juice in it. Looks like there's some. Not a lot. And it smells bad, but let's try turning it over. Alright, we're in neutral. Choke on. Let me do the brake just in case. Throttle up. I think our battery's kind of weak. Little jump pack from Harbor Freight. This thing has come in handy. And I don't see a seat safety on here, so it should want to start even if we're not sitting down. So let's turn this thing on. Try it again. I don't know if you can see that. Battery's at 12.4. So, and we put the jump pack on it, which makes me think our starter is weak. So now we gotta make a judgment call. We could this is your positive going to the starter, which we know the starting solenoid's working because obviously it's trying to start. We have to make a call if this whole project's worth buying a starter to continue on. And I think it is. Everything looks good. And in fact, this engine is the same that's on my Franken mower. So even if this doesn't all work out, I will still have parts to use, so it wouldn't be a waste. So on these Briggs and Strattons, they put, let's see if you can focus, your engine model and everything right here on the valve cover. So we'll look up a starter for it. So it's worth checking this connection. If it's got a corroded connection, which this one doesn't look like, just looks a little oily and dusty. Yeah, that's a clean connection. So that is something to check if you think that engine is not, the starter is not spinning that engine fast enough to get it to fire up and run. I know we haven't checked for spark yet, which we can do, but I can tell you right now from experience how fast that engine's spinning. It's very unlikely that'll get your engine running. So we know the battery is good, and plus we gave it a jump pack. So even if that battery shows a good voltage while it's chilling there, but under draw it probably drops way down, that could be a bad battery too, but with that jump pack it kind of eliminates that. So okay, while we wait for a starter, I don't have any more patience. Do you remember the original complaint from the owner? He said he was mowing and he hit something and it hasn't run right since. So when you hit something with your blades via belts, your engine is connected to those blades. That's what's spinning them, obviously. And if you hit something hard enough with your blades, that can jerk your flywheel so bad that it can shear the flywheel key. And that's how small engines keep their timing, because like what we talked about earlier, there's a magnet on this flywheel, and that is kept in the right place with a key on the flywheel. And when that jerk happens, if it shears or breaks that key, then your timing is all off. So I cannot wait anymore. Let's pull this off. See if that's the original issue. Some 1/2 inch bolts on top, and then I believe this big sucker is a 1.25 inches. Yeah, 1.25 inches. And I was wrong. Okay, well I'm gonna eat humble pie because as you can see, the flywheel key, that square there, is in fact in the right spot. And it did not shear off. So, I'm glad we checked that, but that is not the issue that I had thought in my head. So now we're all on the same playing field. You know just as much as I do. Let's get this starter coming and continue on. Alright guys, to get this starter off, it's going to be easier to take this shroud off, I think. And there's more mouse nests underneath there that we should vacuum out. So let's see if we can take that off. That's connected, that's bolted on underneath, so we're just going to bend that down for now. Okay, now with that cover out of the way and it kind of cleaned up here, it's a good idea to take off this cable first. Get that out of the way. And then there's 2 bolts that hang it on. I'm using a T40. T40 long reaching one. Because they sit way back there. Alright, and that's it. Old starter. And with the power of the internet, new starter. And like I always say, it's always good to compare your new part with the old part. Take a note where your lug is, where the mounting holes is. This looks like it's a perfect match. And this isn't an OEM Briggs one either. This is fresh from the boat of China. I don't know if you can see this, but these wires here that go up to your ignition coils were tucked back in there, so we want to make sure we don't pinch those putting this new one in. Let's see how we want to do this. Do we have to feed it through the hole first, probably? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that one's cross-threaded, but that's what's nice about these long reach sockets. Okay. Alright, that one feels good. We're gonna run that one home. You can see there's some gunk in those threads, so what you want to do is use a dirty brush and get more gunk in the threads. That way. When in doubt, when the bolt's not feeling right, use hand tools. Don't haul off with this thing and possibly screw everything up, which that felt a little rough, but it definitely wasn't cross-threaded. It probably just had some junk in the threads. Okay, now we can hook our cable back up.
Oh, Papa, that looks brand new.
It certainly is.
That makes...
You doing some heavy lifting, Max?
Oh, Maxie, are you a weighted boy? Yeah, no. Well, Max, you might want to set that down before you get cut.
All right. Make sure, before we try to start this thing again, have everything back to where it should be. All right. Attempt number 2. Choke on. Okay, so as you can see, it blew my little makeshift plug out of the air intake. I think, this makes me think there's a valve hanging open. But if that's the case, this thing's gonna backfire. But let's hook it up to some juice again. I don't have the, you can take that out, Kevin. I don't have the biggest faith in this battery. So if this thing turns it over, and it sparks and it backfires like crazy, then we know there's something going on with the valves. Ready, guys? Might go bang. All right. before I get too far ahead of myself, first, we could see how much better the engine turned over with that new starter. So I don't think we went wrong getting a new starter. But before we go on diagnosing valves or whatever, let's make sure we have spark, because we do know we have a bad wire up top. And then we can introduce some gas in here manually, because we looked in the gas tank, the gas looked pretty dang old. So let's follow our steps here and not get ahead of ourselves. It doesn't smell like gas. Caroline?
Yes?
Could you come over here? Well, actually, I can do it.
I could turn the key, Papa.
Here. I gotta hold down this brake. You turn the key when I tell you to?
Which way?
To the right.
Right.
Alright, go ahead. Is it doing anything?
And
You gotta turn it hard. Good. Okay, we got spark. Now it's a 2-cylinder. Let's go check the other side. You want to stay right there, Cece?
if you let me.
Yeah.
And I won't be in the way.
You're not in the way, honey. Okay. We're on the other cylinder. Alright, Cece, you ready? Mm-hmm. Go for it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Good. Yep.
Why did it pop so loud?
Yeah, I think there's a valve issue. So we got spark. We got spark on both ones. So if we continue to move down our chain of diagnosing, we got sparks. We know we got compression, except I think our timing is off. We know our timing is right because the flywheel, we checked that already. We haven't introduced gas yet. I'm not sure it's getting gas because none of those spark plugs looked wet. And I'm going to break the rule and go for the valves, because I think the way that compression that is shooting out the air intake is not right. So let's take off these valve covers, rotate the flywheel by hand, and see what those valves are doing. Okay, there will be some oil underneath this valve cover. Oh!
Oh, mouse nest or what?
Here's your problem, lady. No mouse nest in here, Caroline.
None?
That is supposed to be straight. This is a bent guide rod for your valve. So that's a problem. Not sure if you can see this, but this top valve rod, maybe it's a better angle there. That one is also bent, so we'll have to get that out. The question in my mind now is what caused these to bend. Let's take a look at the other side and see what those look like. All right, cylinder number 2. Going through my head, what would cause those guide rods to bend like that? So what those rods do is they travel down into the engine and ride on your camshaft. And those camshaft have lobes in them, and when they come around, they'll lift up on that pin, and that's what actuates your valves up on top here. And these ones aren't falling out. It seems a little loose. Okay, those don't look bent. see how they operate. So the top one here is going to be your intake. This is your intake valve, this is your exhaust. So we should see, depending where we are in the timing. Okay, so right now you see this one moving, that one's opening, that's exhausting your gas, your burnt gas. Then we see our intake open, then it goes bang, right there, and then our exhaust opens up. So this one seems like it's operating fine. Now we have to make a decision. So it's decision time. I think we're gonna order new guide rods, just a set of 2. We know they're good on the other side. We've seen those valves actuate. We can feel the compression. Let's order these 2 parts, put them in there, and see how those valves actuate on the other side. If we're good, we'll throw some gas in it and see if it runs. Like I said, I don't feel guilty about ordering parts for this lawnmower because it is the same engine that's on my Frankenmower. So if this all comes to naught and the thing don't run, I have a lot of spare parts, some new parts for my Frankenmower. So let's do that, and I'll see you in part 2. If this has been fun, you like hanging out in the shop with me, don't forget to like and subscribe. And leave a comment. What do you think would cause these guide rods to bend like that? Does it have something to do with him hitting something with his lawnmower and causing it to jolt it and get the valves out of time? That doesn't make sense in my head, but let me know what you think. We'll see you later.